2022X here. Happy to announce that we'll be participating in our first ever Pokemon League draft. If you don't know what a Pokemon League draft, the short summary is pretty much we're gonna have, I think there was like 8 of us participating, where there's a pool of Pokemons split into tiers. You get to choose the tiers one by one, and then you will be battling. Usually it's a 6v6 singles format, and that is what we're gonna be doing. There's some that are gonna do doubles, but yeah, this one is gonna be a single 6v6, and we battle once a week. We actually will know what our opponent's Pokemons will be, who will be opponent in it. And the cool thing about this draft league is that you actually get to change your Pokemon stats, EVs, abilities, like everything you could think of, just to throw your opponent off. So it's a lot of like, is he gonna bring that? Are they gonna bring that? Or not this? So it's pretty cool. And like I said, it's our first time we got invited, and I'm pretty excited to announce that we are called officially the Midnight Mimikyus. And you're wondering why Midnight Mimikyus? Partially, Midnight is because if you follow my Twitch, we're called the Midnight Puppers for the subs, and then Mimikyu is actually our mascot and our tier 1 Pokemon. That's right. We went with Mimikyu as our first Pokemon ever. And why, you wonder, did we go with Mimikyu? And I was like, it actually had a very logical reason. The main one is because I actually replacing a coach. So instead of drafting my Pokemons at the same time as everyone did, I actually coming in with, okay, these are the Pokemons that are leftovers, and this is from the old coach, so you can grab from those Pokemons. So I do know what most people have, and I noticed that weirdly enough that no one grabbed a Mold Breaker Pokemon, probably because no one picked Mimikyu, right? So I decided to go with Mimikyu because there's no Mold Breakers that I'm gonna have to worry about. So that means that Mimikyu will always, unless I'm missing something, will always have the disguise available. That means a lot of free sword dances, or just a free extra turn where I can do damage, or like sustain a Dynamax attack. That's why we ended up with Mimikyu instead of like Ditto or Subali as our other choices. Now, our next Pokemon is actually a really a choice that we did not lightly, because we wanted something that was slightly fast but also help us with the walls. So our next Pokemon that we ended up choosing is Bisharp. That's right, Bisharp is our next Pokemon, and the reason why we chose him is because it learns Knockoff, it learns Taunt, and in general is a really cool Dark Steel Pokemon. So that's why we chose Bisharp, because of his utility, and because we needed I thought the next best thing to be grabbing was a Steel type. Plus he's also Dark type, so will help us out with the Psychic Pokemons. Now, next we actually have Appleton. In the tier 2, there was a lot of different Pokemons I could have chosen, and a lot of the ones I kind of wanted were already picked up. So we were like, let's go with a type coverage. Let's go with a bulky Pokemon that we can think about. And Appleton was just calling our name. We are not allowed to G-Max, but it's not the end of the world, because Appleton, we're probably not gonna Dynamax him most of the turn. There's a lot of good utilities for Appleton, mainly Recover and Leech Seed. And it's gonna be one of our bulky Pokemons, as we said, gonna help us soak the damage when we need it, just to like think about if we need to do another swap or need to like stall our opponent. So that's why we went with Appleton. Next we have Slopro. Alright, so this Slopro is actually pretty unique. It's a Cantonian Slopro, and the reason we ended going for Slopro for the tier 3 Pokemon was because of a very niche attack that it learns. It actually can learn Toxic. It also can learn Teleport. And I think that's going to be very important to use depending on our opponents. And the reason why I can say that it has Toxic is because we're allowed transfer moves. So not only is Slopro another very thick boy, they also gonna be able to provide us with the ability of a free swap if we need to with teleport, or if we to counter other Pokemons or soak damage, or we can use Toxic and see if we can get that free poison there. So that's why we went with Slowbro. It's actually a pretty cool Pokemon. I think people will probably underestimate Slowbro, and also, I mean, water coverage, right? Water and psychic coverage. For our next one, our tier 4 Pokemon is Acela Gore. I will be honest, I actually wasn't so full soul on Acela Gore. This was actually at the recommendation of my mod. But Acela Gore is one of the fastest Pokemon that we have. And this team, speed is very, very lacking. As we go through the tiers of my Pokemons, you will see that our own Acela Gore is probably our fastest Pokemon in the team. And if the other team outspeeds us, it gets very dangerous. Because in singles, speed is so important. Because unlike doubles, you don't get mid-direction. You don't really protect most of the time. So having Acela Gore is very important for the speed wins. Additionally, Acela Gore is actually there for a very special reason. And it's because it has Final Gambit. That's right. Final Gambit. So we feel like our opponent has a Pokemon that we can't counter with Water Bring, Acela Gore will be our oh shit. So that's why one of the reasons we ended up choosing Acela Gore was because of Final Gambit. But it also has access to Toxic Spikes, which again is pretty pivotal if our opponent is the type that likes to swap a lot, and it makes it respect the Acela Gore. It's like, are you gonna Final Gambit it, or are you gonna Toxic Spike me, or are you gonna do a different attack? So that's what Acela Gore is. It's a big threat. It's like, hey, she's bringing it. I have to know what they bring. So that's why Acela Gore is gonna be so pivotal to our team. Alright, our next Pokemon is Flareon. So we were having a hard time choosing a tier 5 Pokemon. A lot of the decent choices were already taken, but we knew that eventually we needed a fire type. Out of all the fire types we could find, Flareon seemed to be the best choice, plus covers the tier 5 requirement. And the reason why we're going with Flareon is because Flareon will be our fastest Pokemon in the field besides Acela Gore. We're actually going to be doing a very niche build on Flareon to make sure that it's going to be the fastest Pokemon possible. Obviously, it will come with some setbacks, but Flareon is a pretty cool Pokemon that we might even Dynamax sometimes because it has access to fighting moves and also has access to Iron Head, which while I don't necessarily always need, it's actually pretty good. Our team actually is very good against fairy types with all the coverage we have been planning, because I did notice that we have a lot of fairy Pokemons in our opponents. Now, our next Pokemon, for our first free agent, I was pretty excited. Not gonna lie, because I was like, ooh, we need a flying Pokemon with a very good utility. And that's where we bring Bravery. That's right. Well, our next Pokemon is Bravery. And I love Bravery. And the reason why I love Bravery is because it has so much utility. You can make a niche build where you actually set Tailwind. As I said, our team is actually pretty slow, except for Acela Gore and Flareon. So having the Tailwind might actually help us out sometimes. On other times, Bravery also learns Rock Slide, Iron Head, Brave Bird. Like, it's actually cool Pokeball attacks in that. And I think personally, Bravery is it's a very good Pokemon to even Dynamax to. They will be actually pretty pivotal depending on our opponents what they bring. And Bravery is also pretty chunky that it should survive for most of the time at a Thunderbolt. Obviously, I'm not sure it will survive at Max Lightning, but hey, if you have to Dynamax to kill one of my Pokemons, we can take those. We will take those. We can at least get one attack, hopefully not. But yeah, Bravery is our first free agent. Next, we have Tentacru. And I know, why Tentacru? Tentacru is such a weird choice, and I agree. It wasn't our first choice, but we actually needed someone to get rid of spikes, stealth rock, things like that. And Tentacru was our best option to choose out of everything we have. So it's more of a niche pick. It's very squishy, and once again, we have 2 water Pokemons now, right? So we go against someone that has heavy electric moves. It actually might hurt our team a little bit bring both of them. But yes, Tentacru was chosen mostly because of the special moves that it can learn. It's not very, it's kind of weak a lot, but it might not be seen at battles. It might see some battles, but Tentacru is our little niche Pokemon that we're bringing. Especially, like I said, for the Stealth Rock and the Spikes if we don't get a chance to get it. Now, our next Pokemon was a little easier to choose, but also conflicting. Because we needed a Pokemon that could deal with normal types. We need a fighting Pokemon. And unfortunately, a lot of our options were taken once again. And we decided to gamble and bring Polibrack. I know. You have 3 water Pokemons. But like I said, you don't necessarily always bring Slopro. You don't necessarily always bring Tentacru. Maybe also we can, distract our opponent thinking, oh, they have 3 and they always bring an electric Pokemon, right? But we chose Polibrack as our next Pokemon because we needed a good fighting Pokemon, and Polibrack is that boy. Obviously, there's some downsides, but I do think Polibrack will be coming clutch for a couple of fights that we have based on what my opponents have so far. We'll keep it. We haven't planned too much into Polibrack. It was more of like, well, we need another fighting mon. Oh, let's add Polibrack. So I don't know how we'll be using it right away, but it is a Pokemon that we will have to, like, depending on our opponent, bring or not. So now, with all 3 water Pokemons, we are very, very weak to electric Pokemons, right? So we needed a ground or rock Pokemon, right? We looked through the list and we lucked out because I am actually really excited about using this particular Pokemon. And the reason why is because I actually recently fought one, and while it didn't get to do what it's supposed to do, I think in singles it will shine way more. And that Pokemon is none other than Rydon. That's right. For our last choice in this wonderful draft, we get to grab Rydon. Rydon has both Rocket and Lightning Rod as ability. Obviously, on doubles, Rydon will be very clutch. In singles, though, you usually will be going for Rocket. Well, yes, it's still weak to grass. It does help stop our opponents from just blindly bringing a bunch of like electric Pokemons, or just thinking, hey, I can kill you with electric Pokemons, right? So Rydon is pretty clutch. It has actually also gonna be pretty bulky because we will give it Eviolite. That's right, we're giving it Eviolite for most of the part, pretty sure. And then it has actually really niche attacks that I've been able to see, and I'm not gonna tell you what attacks with it, but Rydon does, much like Bravery, it learns a lot of variety of attacks that I think is gonna come in really clutch against our opponents that they might not expect it when we bring it. But yeah, this is our team. This is the Midnight Mimikyus, and I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm really excited for our first battle. We do know who our opponent is. It's gonna be a little rough. It's gonna be a little rough depending on how they play. Their team is technically on paper better than us, but I will do my best with what we got. Again, guys, thank you for watching. On to the next video. Bye.